Hi everyone, and welcome back to the office. Today's video is for those of you who are interested in interior design and maybe want to be an interior designer, or just those of you who are nosy and want to know about behind the scenes. I really wanted to shine a spotlight onto some of the other team members that work here at Sophie Paterson Interiors. So you're going to meet a select few of the designers and people that make all of our incredible projects happen. And of course I'm going to share a little bit about my own journey as well, and as always give you as much advice as I possibly can. So I hope you'll stick with us and I hope you enjoy it.
We are here making our first site visit. The apartment started to be stripped out for our new project.
Strip out happening, so we're going to see where there were some bulkheads and drop ceilings, how much additional height we can get.
Yeah, it's always interesting in an older building, kind of. Hopefully there's not too many surprises, but I think we'll find some things that maybe we weren't expecting from just seeing a floor plan. Let's go and see.
Yeah. Go.
Have you met Ollie before?
No, hi Ollie.
This is Hazel from John Cullen Lighting.
So my name's Hazel, I'm a senior designer at John Cullen, and I'm here to have a walk around with Sophie's team today to look at the lighting. This is our first site visit, so it's our initial kick-off meeting, but I've worked with Sophie on a few projects in the past. We've also done another apartment, which is grey listed, which is very, very similar to this one, so really, really excited to kick off.
What are you up to now, Vanessa?
So I'm currently measuring the patio to figure out, we want to put some furniture out here so the clients can sit and enjoy the view of Hyde Park and have a coffee, but obviously we're a little bit tight on space, so it's going to have to be very carefully picked pieces, and definitely lots of greenery to just make it look beautiful. Well, this will at one point be the guest loo. And as you can see, it's quite an interesting shaped room. It's got lots of curves, so to kind of make it work in the best way possible, we're going to do a curved vanity sink here. And we've got a beautiful custom foam and tall wallpaper going on all the walls that has lots of trees to kind of reflect Hyde Park that's around the corner. And then up here will be kind of a private little area for the toilet. So yeah, we're gonna totally transform it.
I'm Anthony. I'm a lead designer here at Sophie Paterson Interiors. It's 2% chopping cushions. The rest of it is being sat at your computer, emailing suppliers, emailing people on site, letting them, basically trying to organise your whole project. It's, 98% admin and 2% fluffing cushions. I would say bringing a project together. I think I'm going through it now, but the last few weeks on site where everything's starting to come together and you're really feeling you kind of feel like you've got a stampede towards you and you're just trying to get towards the back of it and you want to bring it all together, and getting it brought together and bringing kind of yours and the client's vision to life. I would say that's the best and most challenging part, is when you see it all kind of coming together at the end. I'm obsessed with period properties. I love period homes, so for me the perfect project would probably be a big lovely townhouse around Regent's Park. I think that's probably an aspect of what makes it so great. It's just that everyone gets on. There's no pretense. There's no kind of anyone's better than anyone else. We're all working together, all creating the same vision. So, well, I would say I've not achieved it yet. I'm hoping to achieve it in January, but I'm working on a 14,000 square foot new build, which I've been on for the past 4 years, and it's been an amazing project, amazing clients, and I'm really excited to see it all come together at the end. So for me, when that project's done, that will be, I think, my proudest achievement in this role.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Which room are we in now, guys?
Currently in the guest bedroom. That will be mainly the parents' suite when they come to visit. So it will not look like this anymore. No. We're doing a long headboard across this wall that's going to be upholstered and framed in joinery, and we'll actually also be concealing the pipeworks for the bathroom that's adjoining it. And then we're going to open up this wall into a beautiful arch that's going to go into a nice dressing room. So right now we're in the master bedroom, and in this space we're going to be adding a lot of joinery. So this will be a full headboard wall with some beautiful Fromental paper from Sophie's new collection.
Link in the description.
And across this whole wall we're going to do an electric fireplace with a reeded marble mantle and a TV above, and then we're going to kind of have a secret entrance into the master bathroom. So that'll kind of be hidden, and we're able to gain some space with the joinery, as well as gain some height. So we're going to make it feel much more luxurious than it currently does.
I am Katie, and I've been working for Sophie for about 5.5 years now. So I went to university and studied fashion textiles design, but I focused on textiles printed design to start off with. Decided not to carry on with that, but landed myself an internship when I came out of university with an interior design company. So that's how I started off my career, with an internship, and then worked my way up and started at Sophie's. I would say experience is really, really key within the industry. You can get as many qualifications as you want, but at the end of the day, coming and working in a company, even if it's an internship, working like with a client, working with contractors, and actually seeing a project progress from start to finish, you get as much experience as possible. Really helps you within like the industry and getting into it. Dream project. I mean, I am very lucky in the sense that I am working on two abroad projects at the moment, and they are amazing, but I would love to do a ski chalet.
What's it like working with Soph?
It's so good fun. I mean, she's a lovely boss to work for. Really creative, as well as really personal. Love working for the company as well, in the sense that there's a really nice style, really nice atmosphere, and of course I've been working for so long, so yeah.
Well, welcome to the reception room. I think one of the most beautiful parts of this room is the ceiling, as well as you get a view of Hyde Park, which I think in London is an extremely special thing. So this room is going to be where they entertain, but also where they, relax at the end of the day and watch TV. So it kind of has to be multifunctional, elegant, but casual. And a big thing we're changing is we're doing a beautiful, tall new mantle in a Carrara marble with lots of carvings, still in keeping with the period of the home, but just a little more grand and elevated than what's currently here. And we're going to do a big joinery unit on that wall that conceals the TV, so you don't always have to see it when you're entertaining, but is kind of hidden away behind some beautiful paneled wallpaper. And then we're going to mix this room with some antiques, some beautiful artwork hanging from chains on the wall. And just have lots of cozy places to lie and watch TV and read a book and enjoy kind of the incredible views. So here we're going to be putting some bifold doors, and it connects into the dining room, which is also a very grand space. And we're going to have it a bit moodier. So we're putting in kind of a rust-colored silk wallpaper, and a big round dining table. Matching new fireplace, and just a gorgeous sparkly chandelier to make sure it all sparkles and feels like a special place to have dinner.
So I'm Brett, I'm a lead designer at Sophie Paterson Interiors, and I've been with Sophie now just over 8 years. My personal route into interior design wasn't necessarily the most direct one through interiors. It was through graphic design, illustration and fine art and things like that. And then building a passion for fabrics and textures and things like that, and then being able to use those in my own home. That then led me to do like online courses and things like that. So that was my route.
What was your proudest achievement in this job?
My proudest achievement? There's so many, and that sounds quite cliche, but I love my job, and it doesn't feel like a job, it feels like a hobby, and because of that I just enjoy every day. But the up there thing for me is just unveiling a project with Sophie to a client. When they knock at the front door, you open it, and then you go to do the walkthrough, and just watching them
just enjoy the space. Within the world of interior design, I think there's a huge misconception for just thinking it's chopping a cushion, touching fabrics. That is just not even the tip of the iceberg. It's probably less than 5% of the job. It's mainly looking at figures, looking at spreadsheets, looking at software, negotiating prices, getting the best price for a client. It's very admin based, 95%, possibly 98%.
So we're going into what will be the kitchen. It used to be a bedroom, but it has extremely tall ceilings, so we're bringing the cabinetry not fully up to the ceiling, but really high up, and putting in a ladder so that you can use all the storage way up high. And under the under the window here, there'll be a banquette that will act as kind of seating so that you can hang out while you're cooking. And yeah, we're going to be doing lots of different finishes. White cabinetry mixed with kind of a dark wood and antique brass. So it's going to be, these clients really love to cook, so we're putting the space to hard work and make sure we can get in all their kind of appliances and things they need to make gorgeous meals.
Good, had a busy day, just got back from London. We just signed the agreement for a new collection, which I'm really excited about. That will launch next year, completely different category of product, a new brand partner, and I'm really excited about this one. And then this afternoon, Auntie and I went to go and meet a new prospective client, gorgeous townhouse, really, really quick deadline. So we're gonna have to work really hard to make it happen, but we're gonna put the proposal together and hopefully have another great project.
Can you tell me a little bit about some of the other projects you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, we've got 15 projects, which doesn't sound, well, it does sound like quite a lot, but when you realise the scale of them, it's like a huge amount of work going on. So we have 2 villas in Oman. Those are 30,000 square foot each, so huge projects. We've got multiple team members working on those. We have some new build houses. We have lots of grade 2 listed properties, lots and lots of projects all around London. One really exciting project, which is an apartment overlooking on Buckingham Palace, which I've been working on for quite a long time, so I'm really excited to see that one come together.
What's it like working with your team, Soph?
It's amazing. I've got a really, really good team. I think you guys are going to get to meet the team quite a lot more. Today we're doing a meet the team video, so you're going to see a bit about what they're like and their sort of particular journeys into the industry. But I would say that I just feel so lucky to be surrounded by really talented people. And I really just wanted to do this video to shine a light on them, because although I'm the one that's like the face of the company, I really couldn't do it without them. They're so talented, so competent, and I feel really lucky to be surrounded by such talented people. I think when you hire people, I always say at the back of my mind, hire people that are better at areas that are your weaknesses, and that's definitely true with my team. Like, we all complement each other so well. It's a huge team effort. So we have a team of 14. There's myself, I oversee all the projects and I do all the collaborations, obviously all the marketing. Then we have Brett and Anthony, they are my 2 lead designers. We have Liz, who's head of accounts. She makes all the payments and keeps me on track with all our budgets and everything like that. Then we have several senior designers, then we have mid-weight designers, design assistants and personal assistants, and obviously not forgetting Ollie, our cinematographer, who captures it all to share with you guys. And I think I just feel so lucky that I've managed to surround myself with such talented people. They're all hugely competent, everyone has really good complementary skills, everyone works really well as a team, and they're all a lovely bunch of people. So I'm really excited for you guys to get to know a few of them behind the scenes. Not everyone wants to go on camera, it's not for everyone, but I think it's going to be really nice to give a bit of an insight to the rest of the team and what they do in their day-to-day. I always knew that I wanted to be an interior designer. I was one of those kids that grew up constantly rearranging their bedroom, always tidying up. I'd go to friends' houses and tidy up their bedrooms. And then when I was 15, I did my work experience at the Chelsea Harbour Design Centre. I worked at Cole & Son and Zoffany, and I absolutely loved it. I knew at that point it's what I wanted to do. But then I went a little bit off track, and I think I didn't listen to my gut. And also when you're a teenager and you have parents and teachers and career advisors sort of trying to sway you away from a career, it's very difficult at that age to stay strong to what you're passionate about. And so I did get swayed, and I ended up studying international management with Spanish. I went to Bath University, and my reasoning behind that was I thought that that would keep open more doors, and it's always useful to know a foreign language. And I'm really glad that I studied Spanish, but what happened was I got to the end of that degree and I was no closer to having a career that I wanted. I remember feeling really depressed actually when I left uni, because it's a moment where you have your whole life ahead of you. There's so much pressure. Everyone keeps asking you, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All my friends were getting jobs in corporate sort of roles. And I had about a month where I was just at home doing nothing. And a month doesn't sound that long, but to me it felt like a lifetime. And I just felt like such a loser. I just remember watching daytime TV and thinking, what am I going to do with my life? And then eventually I just got a job. I just needed any job. I wanted to earn money and I didn't want to be a sado at home watching daytime TV. So I got a job in a restaurant, and I think I'm quite good at sort of making a role expand. I started as a waitress, and then I went into events management, and I created this new division where we didn't do private parties, and then we did private parties. And then finally the restaurant wanted to redesign a cafe into a bar, and they didn't have a budget for interior designer, so I was like, straight away, I'll do that. And what that did for me was just really reaffirm that I loved interior design. I hadn't had the training at that point, but I just threw myself into it. I was really organised, very creative, and I had the opportunity to just see what that would be like. And having done that, I knew that there was no going back. So around the same time, sorry, this is a really long story, but around the same time, we bought our first house together, my husband and I, and we'd spent all our money buying it. We couldn't do it up, but we'd just decorated it slowly and done what we can without making huge changes. And we'd finally got to the stage where we were going to redo our kitchen, which was falling apart. And I had grand ideas of knocking it through into the garage. It was a Muse house, and he wanted to keep the garage because he's a typical man that loves cars. So we couldn't agree, and we had a property developer who was an acquaintance of my husband come and give his professional opinion, and whatever he told us to do, that was what we were going to do, because we wanted to add value to our house. We didn't want to depreciate it. It was our biggest asset. So this guy came round and decided with my husband. I was having a little strop about that, but then in the meantime he was looking at all the decor we had in our house, and he said to my husband, which interior designer did you use? I love how you furnished this place. At which point my husband was like, are you Sophie? Like, she's amazing, you should work with Sophie. And so this guy really just, I was like very reluctant because I was very shy, and I just felt like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, it's too much pressure. But he was very encouraging, and I think he was even more encouraging when I told him I would only do it if I could work for free. I designed his whole townhouse. I taught myself. Actually, I studied Vectorworks at KLC, and I designed his whole townhouse development, all the joinery, the bathrooms, the kitchen, chose all the hard finishes, and did that at the same time as working in events. So it was a really, really tough year, but I just loved it. I was never happier. I just worked flat out. And the great thing about that was that he was a massive networker, so then he put me in touch with other developers and other clients. I had a marketing background. One of the modules from my degree was marketing, and I just always had an innate sense for marketing, so I knew that I had to get professional photographs for that project. I had to try and get it into local magazines and really build a bit of momentum, get some more projects off the back of it. That same developer gave me one more project, which I earned £10,000 for in total, didn't make any margin on the furniture. So my first 2.5 years I made £10,000, and I was really lucky that I was able to do that. I was investing in my future. But then everything really sort of took off when I started doing private clients, because developers are great. It's a great way to sort of get into the industry, but you don't have the same budgets. So my first project I got through my Facebook page, which I've since closed down, but I had a Facebook page for the company. And that was a project in Cambridge. And at that point, that's when Britt and Anthony joined me. They'd got in touch with me. They really wanted to work with me. But I didn't have the budget to have full-time employees. So they worked part-time for me first. And really, it was my career sort of took off and the business took off. Everything came together at the same time. And we had an inquiry in Cobham through Instagram. And it was big enough for me to be able to say to Britt and Anthony, okay, right, I'm ready to hire you full time, let's do this. So I'll never forget, they came back from a holiday, literally with their suitcases, turned up to the office, and we just started working straight away. And we did this incredible project, which is still on my website to this day. Together, we just threw ourselves in the deep end, and we haven't looked back since. We've expanded, we're now a team of 14. And continually growing, albeit like I like to grow the company quite slowly. But I would say I never had plans of growing it this big. It just evolved and I've just gone with the flow. But you kind of have to dive in.
Do you ever have moments where you kind of reflect back on those days?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love being a waitress as well. Like, yeah, simple times. Like, when you're working with someone else, you can switch off at night. I mean, my team, I'm really lucky. They're so invested in the company. They really are so passionate. They care about their projects. Like, they'll be sending me emails at night time at the weekend. I don't expect them to. For me, it's very important. Everyone has a work-life balance. But that is one of the benefits of not having your own company. And certainly when I didn't have my own company, I did not work at the weekends and I did not think about work at night time. But yeah, I occasionally have moments where I think, wow, like I can't believe it's become what it's become. And actually, one of those moments was at our Christmas party, which if you saw our last episode, the team and I, we all went to Hampton Court Palace and we were ice skating. And I just remember sort of standing back at one moment, watching all the team. And it was as everyone was walking down the avenue towards the Mitre where we went for dinner. And I actually felt quite emotional. And I remember saying to Britt and Anthony, but like, can you believe like where we are, like how big the team's become and what we've achieved together as a team. I just feel really, really proud of that. So I do think about it occasionally.
On that particular topic, so would you be able to share with us what you think are, or what you found are the toughest aspects about growing a company?
Without a doubt, it is hiring people. You just never feel ready to hire someone. It's such a big responsibility, certainly for me. For like my team are like an extension of the family. Like I work so closely with them, I care about them, you know so much about what's going on in their lives. And I just felt so terrified at the idea of being responsible for someone else's livelihood. So I'd say the first time you hire someone is definitely the most difficult. It took me a long time. I think I was running the company completely by myself for 5 years doing everything. But when you find the right people, it just, you know, you can achieve so much more when you have talented people that join you that have ability. You know, what I loved about Britt and Anthony when they joined was just their ability to see what needed to be done. They learn so quickly, they're so capable and competent and just get on with it. Like I didn't need to micromanage them and I don't micromanage anyone in the team. They're all like hugely competent.
So how can someone out there, for those watching, how can they come work for you? What are you looking for when it comes to hiring someone to join the team?
Well, first and foremost, you have to be super talented. You have to have all the necessary technical skills. So in terms of software, we use AutoCAD, we use InDesign for presentations, we use Photoshop also for the presentations, we use Estimac for sort of keeping track of all the orders and logging all the information for the FF&E. All of those programs you should like know inside out and definitely start familiarising yourself. You can do short courses on each of those, so I'd highly recommend that. Work experience is great. It's really difficult to get your foot in the door, especially in the current day situation. We're not taking any interns on because everyone's working remotely. So it would be really boring for an intern. They'd just be shadowing me in the office. And I don't think it would add as much value for them. I do get a lot of people ask me, but I just, you know, I have so much sympathy because I know how hard it is to get work experience. No one would give me work experience, which is why I set up the company. But work experience, if you can get it, is a good one, and definitely think outside the box, understand that whichever company you're applying to is going to get a huge amount of inquiries, especially if they're a slightly more well-known company. So maybe apply to some of the lesser well-known ones and build up your experience that way. But aside from the necessary sort of experience and software, the one thing that unites all the people that I've hired over the years is that I think they're a genuinely good person, and that is so important to me, because not only are you working really closely with them, but they're representing you, they're representing the company, and I feel that everyone in the team, I can put them in a situation where they're client facing and I know they're going to do a good job, they're going to do the right thing, they're going to carry themselves in the right way, and they're just genuinely nice people. And I think you need to be a nice person. You know, I feel like, especially as the business owner, if you hire someone that can be negative, that can really spread across. So for me, the atmosphere in the office, the atmosphere and the camaraderie between the team, and the fact that it is a real sort of united team is so important, that when one designer, for example, is under a lot of pressure, has got a looming deadline, you know, we have weekly meetings every week and people just volunteer. They're like, don't worry, my workload's not that much, I'll do those drawings for you, I'll render up those elevations. For me, that's so amazing that they all help each other out, and it really sort of creates this incredible team. I've lost track of my thoughts, but I hope that answered your question. I love so many stages. I think my job is so varied, especially these days, but I love meeting really interesting people. I go to a lot of the initial meetings where we meet potential clients. I love the concept design stage, when you've sort of taken the brief from the client, and that's when I really immerse myself into the project. I'm like putting all the concepts together, the hard finishes, I really enjoy that. And then I would say the handover and watching the project come together. You never get bored of that stage. Like when you can start seeing, you know, the marble go in, the joinery go in, the curtains, and then like all the FF&E starts arriving. It's really, really magical, and it always takes my breath away. I always sort of, even though we might have done countless elevations of every angle, we might have done a CGI, nothing prepares you for how amazing it looks in real life. And we've done a few client handovers where the clients haven't seen it at all until we've walked them round. And there's been tears, some ugly tears from me and the team, where, you know, we pour our heart and soul into these projects, and when we get to see firsthand how much that means to the client, you know, it's like we live for that. That means so much to us, and you wouldn't do this job, you know, you have to pour your heart and soul into it. You wouldn't do this job unless you felt really passionate about that. So seeing it come together and seeing what you've created make a difference to that client, that just means so much. Amazing support, amazing feedback. It's been such an incredible journey. I am a huge believer in social media. My company wouldn't be where it is without it. We've hired, you know, members of staff through social media. We've had so many projects come through social media. But I knew when I met Ollie, our cinematographer, that he just had so much raw talent, and I was like, how can I bring this into my company? And together we devised this idea of how we were gonna showcase all the behind the scenes of the company, some of our completed projects, and I enjoy the process so much. For me, it's not about how much ad revenue we get, or, you know, is it a good return on investment. I just love it, and I think it's so fun to do. I get to spend one day every fortnight filming with Ollie. I don't have to check my email. We just sort of immerse ourselves into this world of YouTube. Ollie constantly tells me, because my face is one of those resting faces that just looks miserable even though I'm happy inside. Every time he starts rolling, he's like, happy, clappy YouTuber. So I have to like make my face a bit happier. But I just love it. I think I like pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I definitely didn't find filming easy. If you watch some of the very beginning episodes, you know, it took me 10 takes to do that. And if you look really closely, you can probably see like a little nervous tick on my eye.
We started it during lockdown, didn't we?
We started it during lockdown. But I think not only just like our personal enjoyment, but when we see the comments, we see the subscribers, the support that just like pours out, it means so much to me and Ollie. We read every single comment. We even say to each other, we message each other at night like, did you see that nice comment? So thank you so much to everyone who watches this channel, who comments and supports us. We genuinely really appreciate it. And I also have some very exciting news that I thought this was a scam at first, but I got an email a couple of weeks ago from YouTube telling us that we have been nominated to be a creator on the rise, which being a new sort of a YouTube newbie, I didn't fully appreciate what that was, but basically YouTube has decided to highlight our channel and is going to promote it. And when I told Ollie this news, he was like, this is a big deal. So thank you, YouTube, and I'm really excited to see where this journey will take us. So the final thing I would like to say, if you're watching this video, is I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas for those of you that are celebrating, and a Happy New Year. I hope that this video is in some way inspiring to you if you're looking to see how you can get into the industry, to know that all of us have done it. We've done it through different paths, and please don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't do it. Let that be your inspiration to prove them wrong.
Hi guys, I'm Vanessa, and that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you like what you've seen, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one.